Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this week's episode of the Four Corners Podcast. My name is John, and I am your host who is excited for the Royal Rumble the most. And I am joined by my beautiful co-host, Damien.
What's up, Johnny?
Oh, I'm chilling today, dude. Feeling pretty good. Excited to be back. I'm excited for the Rumble. Actually, I think it'll be a pretty star-studded Rumble, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, for sure. Ethan?
Hey, John. How's your day going?
I just explained how my day was going, but it's going well. I'm glad to see that our Four Corners podcast is doing well. The Twitter polls are doing well, and we're having a good response in the YouTube channel. So
it can only go up from here.
It can only go up from here. There is no going down. I mean, we could go down.
No,
but
we can't.
What?
I said no, we can't.
Nick?
Hey, John. How's your day going?
Wow. You know what? I haven't been asked that today, so I'm really glad that you asked me that.
No problem.
Not too shabby. Can't complain, really. Cool. I did go into work today thinking that I had to work, and I didn't.
Got your name tag on right there.
Yeah, I have my work shirt on because I worked anyways, but...
Oops.
So, we have the Royal Rumble coming up this weekend, so we will get into our predictions for that. However, in bigger news, Raw 25. The 25th anniversary of Raw. Supposed to be probably the biggest show in Raw history. And wow. So we asked our fans on Twitter. Wow, I cannot believe you, Ethan. We asked our fans on Twitter just a simple poll about where they were feeling and how you guys were feeling about Raw 25. I believe some of the options were excited for it, hopeful with reservations, and then a bit indifferent, and then like not excited for it. But some of those polls, so a lot of people were excited about it, and I think for good reason. There were a lot of big names on there, a lot of hot action that we were expecting to see.
A lot of hot action.
I hate you.
You're right.
But as our second poll indicates, now that it's over, what's your opinion on Raw 25? The overwhelming favorite, or not overwhelming favorite, but the favorite was could have been better. The second favorite was a disappointing and awful show. Ethan, you gave me kind of a look of I don't know. I thought you gave me a look.
I was just reacting,
Or do you agree with that?
Oh, I definitely agree.
With which one?
Oh, well, both of them. I mean, it could have definitely been a better show. I could have written better stuff than that, and I'm not even a writer, so I feel like it could have definitely been improved, and we'll get into it.
You're kind of like an armchair quarterback, though.
You think
Yikes.
so?
Yikes. Yeah, I think it's fair to say that there were definitely things that could have been better. So we start off Raw 25 in impeccable fashion. We had Stone Cold come out after Vince McMahon was given a plaque by his son and daughter. And then, it was a very sweet, heartfelt moment. And then Vince went back to old heel Vince. And if you could see Nick's face now, you would know that our reaction...
Plaques on your teeth.
Plaque! Plaque! It's a plaque! Awesome opening segment. Incredible.
Unlike our podcast, things can only go down from there.
We'll get into that. But yes, Stone Cold came out. We were all expecting it. But it was one of those things that even though we were expecting it, we still marked out for it. Stone Cold stunned Shane McMahon. After a little bit of back and forth, stunned Vince McMahon, surprisingly. 72 years old. Taking a stunner.
He still takes the worst bump.
Yeah, but honestly, that's probably just his thing now. Like, he's probably just, you know what I mean?
Very consistent.
Yeah.
I like it.
It is consistent. Yeah. It is consistent. Some of the highlights of that was the beer being sprayed all over Shane. He just, dumped it on him. You guys saw that, right?
Vince just straight up just poured it on top of him.
Yeah, it was funny. In my opinion, it was an incredible start to Raw 25. I don't think they could have done it better, personally, for me. My opinion. I don't know how you guys felt about it.
They didn't have Stephanie talk for 5 minutes. That was great. It was only a few minutes.
Right.
That was only 2 minutes.
Yeah, the best part to me was the lack of Stephanie in that segment.
Yeah.
She had some pretty awful lines at the beginning, but whenever she was out of the ring, it was Vince, Shane, and Austin. That was when it got fun to watch.
It felt like she was trying too hard to be a face, and it just didn't
Yeah,
work.
she had her big old smile that she
Yeah.
does, and
Yeah,
oh my
fake
God,
smile.
she's pandering to the crowd. It was hard to watch.
But dang, does Vince look good? 72 years old.
I think he looks even better than when he came on to SmackDown
Oh,
and
yeah.
took that headbutt from Kevin.
Yeah,
I think he looked a lot better even then. He had the strut. He had all of it. It was awesome to see. A good nostalgic act. And what I thought was going to just, you know what I mean, be a great start to Raw 25 for the rest of the show. And as we saw,
Terrible.
just disappointing. It's just one of those things where, like, I'm not even mad. I'm just disappointed.
It had so much potential. Like all the videos and promos leading up to it. Everybody going on to the Today Show and, the Tonight Show. Just didn't pan out to what it should have been.
I think that's a perfect representation of what it was, what it could have been, and what it should have been.
yeah. Like for me, with the legend shows that they do every now and then, you got to use them to further storylines, not just to be like a big filler night of jokes and fun. Like you got to put them in the storylines, but also help them further them, the current ones that are going on, not whatever they're doing.
And I mean, we were definitely expecting. This was a nostalgia show.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of wrestling fans kind of get mad about the whole nostalgia thing. Goldberg is a prime example of that. Like, it was just catering to, like, a nostalgic act. And, you know what I mean? And a lot of people were mad about that.
I mean, and he wasn't even there. You would think he would be there, him going in the Hall of Fame.
It might have been busy.
Could have been, but he should
What's he
have
got
been
going
there.
on?
I don't know. Probably nothing, to be honest
trying
with you.
Kissing
to-
his fat son.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
Trying to please him, make sure he's not a deadbeat dad.
But, I mean, as we'll get into with the rest of this show, it catered too much to it. This should have been used, as Nick said, as a launching pad for a lot of the current talent.
Yeah.
Instead of a showcase for the older talent.
Which you could make the argument that it's the Rumble, so there's not a whole lot of like actual storylines going on, but still doesn't mean that there shouldn't be any going on.
Exactly.
You got to do something besides
Exactly.
nostalgic jokes.
And in some
fun.
cases, essentially derailed,
yes.
which we'll get into. So one of the prime talking points that we wanted to discuss was actually the ideal that WWE had of having this in the Manhattan Center and in the Barclays Center. We were wondering, all speculating, what was going to happen with these two. Were they going to have, like, just switch off every time? Which they did, but boy, the Manhattan Center was livid, and they were going to riot. So we saw almost all of the segments take place in the Barclays Center. Almost everything, besides a few. And we were watching videos in between on Twitter of the Manhattan Center. Just, they looked like they were going to riot.
Mm-hmm. Which, wouldn't you be the same way?
Yeah.
Paying
That much
$800
yeah, definitely.
for seats.
Yeah, I don't blame them at all. But the segments that were on the in the Manhattan Center, I think were the worst, honestly.
Yeah.
So the first one that we saw from the Manhattan Center was the Undertaker segment. And I think the first critique that we all had was no dimming of the lights, no, like, mystique to his character, to the Phenom entrance. There was no dimming of the lights, there was no fog machine, there was no nothing.
Which you could say that that's consistent because he's retiring or he lost all of his mystique or whatever, but that wasn't the promo that he cut. It was a weird promo that
Yeah,
was kind
and
of retirement, but not.
that's where I'm going to respectfully disagree, because the way he delivered his promo, he still had the Phenom. He was still the Phenom. He talked about, taking out everybody that he's taken out. And it was a weird promo.
It didn't have a purpose. Like, I thought he was going to say that he was going to, whatever, rest in peace and retire. But he said everybody else that I've already beaten is going to rest in peace still. Continue resting in peace. Like,
That didn't make any sense.
it made
It
no
was
sense.
weird.
Nick, you pointed out something about his attire, though.
There was a nice consistency with the fact that he didn't have his hat or his gloves on that he left in the ring. at Mania, or that
Or
same big jacket that he
right,
wore.
the trench coat.
Yeah.
So it was almost a new thing. So with the Undertaker, we expected that he was going to challenge Cena, but we never got that.
He didn't get anything.
We didn't get anything. There was it was literally him saying, "Hello."
Hi, I'm Undertaker.
We are a little bit distracted by 205 Live, as we'll get into a little bit later. But it does look like Enzo is just dropping the
Looks
title.
like he's fired. He's gone.
Yeah, we'll get into that. You boys keep watching that and keep me
Yeah,
updated
me and John
on
can
that.
talk.
Yes. So, you speculated earlier during his promo that, well, since this is early, maybe he's going to make an appearance at the Barclays Center as ABA.
Yeah, and wouldn't that have been incredible?
Would have been
It would
cool.
have been unexpected. It would have been great to have
Didn't
a little
happen.
crossover. But
Didn't happen.
No.
He didn't mention anything about the Royal Rumble. So I don't know. I know that, like, obviously he should have been there since it is Raw 25, but I think everybody was expecting, hey, Undertaker's coming. He's calling out somebody.
or at least saying something of substance. You know.
Right. And as we saw with Cena, it looks like he's going into some sort of program with Elias. I don't know how far that's going to go.
I'm guessing it's gonna be Mania. I think he's taken Samoa Joe's spot. Yeah, so it's gonna be Elias and Cena, which I would be okay with. I mean, it's not.
I am not okay with that.
Really. I mean, it pushed Elias.
As
to
much
move.
as I like Elias, I don't think Cena should be in that match. Cena needs a bigger match than
I
that.
agree.
It's Cena. Like,
I feel like he's been treading water for since Mania 29. Like it's been a while since he's done anything relevant at WrestleMania.
yeah. What you doing?
The drummer's next door.
Oh yeah. The drummers, incredible. I don't even hear them, so that's a
Well, you
that's
have
a positive thing.
headphones on. So.
Yeah, but I should hear them with the microphones.
True.
But yeah, we'll see what happens with Undertaker. I mean, I'm sure that they'll still probably have Undertaker in there. I don't know. It was just weird, and I feel weird talking about it just because of how weird it was.
Mm-hmm.
So, the weird thing about Raw 25 is, even though, yes, it's the Rumble, so we are slowing down in some of our storylines, nothing was progressed besides The Miz beating Roman Reigns for the Intercontinental Championship. As Nick is probably thinking,
Number 7.
it's home.
It is back home where it belongs. The match was actually really solid.
Yes.
Like I've been saying, Miz is improving every day in the ring, and obviously Roman's a good in-ring worker as well. And that a really good finish with the 2 finishers and I don't know if you guys even noticed when he took that pad off of the turnbuckle. I had no idea.
No
I had no idea either.
Roman hit it and got pinned. I was like, what? There's no way it takes 2 of those finishers to beat him. But then the commentary pointed out that he pulled that pad off when no one was paying attention and got the quick, easy win.
Yeah. Good decision going forward if they are going to do what all the rumors have been saying since last WrestleMania and have Roman defeat Brock
31.
defeat Brock. I mean, they were going to put the IC title on Roman eventually, just so he can have that accolade.
It's like a placeholder until Miz came back, honestly.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
That's all it was.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I had no problem with Roman as IC champion, to be honest with you.
He didn't really do a whole lot of the fighting champion thing that he said he was going to do, but I don't know what happened there with the writing team. I don't know.
Yeah. But solid match. The Miztourage got thrown out, and we thought that was going to be the catalyst to him losing. But, I mean, besides the turnbuckle, Roman technically lost clean, I guess.
Yeah, but it's not that clean.
It's not that clean, but at
illegal.
the same time, it was a turnbuckle and a skull-crushing finale.
Yeah, it wasn't like 6 finishers and a
Right,
crooked
yeah.
referee and all that other stuff.
Exactly. But one story that not only didn't progress but probably derailed, we'll see what WWE does with it, was the Revival there at the end. So we had DX come out and do their thing at the Manhattan Center, which good. I thought it was an incredible like promo by Triple H, and like I saw he always has a lot of passion in his promos, and he always is like has a lot of fire to him. But I thought it was great personally.
He saved it because started out with Shawn Michaels talking about buying their network and all that, and Triple H saw that he was dying, drowning in the crowd, so he jumped in and saved him.
Yeah, we all cringed at it. Sean was even cringing at it when he said it.
Tell he didn't write that.
No. But we had DX come out. All the members of DX, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Billy Gunn, Road Dogg, X-Pac.
And they even mentioned China.
They mentioned China. They name dropped China.
Love that.
Very shocking.
The bad guy came out. It was a great time.
Commercial.
Oh my gosh, that was so irritating. So irritating that they did that to him.
That was probably the most like annoying thing that they did. The whole 3 hours was that. That probably made me mad the most.
I dare to agree to that.
It's like, why would you like? That was like one of the biggest moments of the night was going to be Scott Hall's return as Scott Hall as Razor, and he gets halfway out of the entrance ramp, and they cut to the commercial without even tossing the commercial or anything.
Yeah, they didn't throw it to commercial. They
just
like
faded out.
Yeah, didn't even fade out. It was just almost a cut.
It just like black.
Yeah, it was almost just a cut out. Yeah, a good promo by all of them. The nostalgia that we wanted to see, and then the Balor Club came out, and that's where I thought, oh, maybe they're doing the DX burial with Balor Club
That's what
instead.
I was so afraid of.
And then they too sweeted in the middle.
It was too sweet.
Yeah. And I thought that was an incredible time to like actually turn the Balor Club heel, but I guess they're very face now.
Yeah.
I
agree.
Yeah, I guess they're very face now. And then they kind of did their thing back and forth, and then the Revival came out. They even mentioned on commentary again that they aren't sports entertainers; they're professional wrestlers. But you know how that goes. And then it was weird because there was no announcement for it or anything. There were like literally 10 guys in the ring, and then a ref comes out with the Revival, and we're like, who is in the match? And it was the Club versus the Revival. The Revival lost quickly to the Club, who have taken an embarrassing amount of losses last year, I should say.
But you got to build them up eventually.
Yeah, but at the expense of the Revival.
I think they'll be all right.
Yeah,
honestly,
I was not as offended by this segment as some people were.
I mean, I was hoping it wouldn't happen because no one wants to see that. But,
yeah.
I mean, I think they'll be. Just
I think
fine.
that was their best case scenario, though. It was taking the loss to the Club, who are getting pushed, and also it being a Triple H segment. Triple H loves his NXT guys. He wouldn't do something that he's not comfortable with them being called up. So to me, that made it softened the blow of them taking that easy loss and then getting finished multiple times.
Yeah. I don't know. I was
not as upset by it as most people
I
were.
was irritated.
I know.
I still am irritated about it. Because there are ways to go about that and get your nostalgia pops without having to derail them like that. Because that was a hot promo that they had.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see with that. We'll see where WWE goes with it. Maybe I'll change my mind on it, and maybe I'm just being too quick with it. But we've seen in the past what they've done in this situation.
Yep.
So, I don't know if there was anything else about Raw 25 that was noteworthy.
It was cool to see Jericho. That was cool.
Yeah.
He was wearing his Alpha shirt.
I wish he would have went with the Alpha character, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's not WWE, though.
Yeah. That's New Japan.
Oh, well.
Oh, well.
Yeah, oh, well.
Okay.
Neither was the Club. That wasn't WWE, but they turned that into...
That's different.
They brought that to WWE.
They weren't working for both companies at the same time.
I mean, fair enough. Well, you would think you would try to keep a consistency if you're working for both companies.
But again, we have the whole nostalgia factor, so that they wanted to do the list gimmick, and they wanted to get the whole crowd over with that, so they weren't going to not bring back the list on a nostalgia night.
That's true.
I'm cool with
That's
it.
true. Yeah, Raw 25 was disappointing, unfortunately, because it really should have been incredible.
I mean, I had a feeling like last weekend. I had a feeling it was just gonna disappoint, and I was giving them the benefit of the doubt. Like maybe not. Maybe it'll be good, but they let me down again. So.
Well, yeah, and a lot of the legends were at the poker table with APA, so.
Did you guys enjoy the ongoing poker thing or not?
You know, I actually thought that was one of the better things, the better programs of the night, personally.
Yeah, like if there was a good way to get all of them on the same show without making it really lazy, that was the way to do it. I enjoed it.
I wish MVP would have done something else. Though.
Yeah,
that's what.
Because
Got
MVP's
something
like
else.
MVP's great, and I wish he would have been.
Nice
at
to
least,
see him back.
At least come back like in the ring and give a little ball in, and then like
Yeah,
and
something.
then elbow. But
I don't know.
oh well. Other than that, yeah.
What are you going to say, buddy?
I was gonna say, I mean, I enjoyed it. It was good seeing everybody, but I just wish a couple of those guys would have got in-ring stuff like MVP, and the Usos could have had a match with the Dudleys, or the Dudleys could have had. And what was that? What was that match? The
It was
Dudleys.
Titus.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
it could have been any of those guys, and they picked Titus Worldwide to do it, and it just.
I was shocked that the Dudleys didn't go to the Manhattan Center. That's the
Yeah.
place where they started with the ECW and all that. Why would they? Why would they appear at the Brooklyn show instead? Like,
I mean, that's a good
like
question.
you can have the exact same crappy Titus Worldwide versus Heath Slater and Rhino at the Manhattan Center, and make the crowd have something else to watch, and then do the Dudleys pop.
I mean, they did have Titus Worldwide in the poker table.
I thought that was pre-taped, wasn't it? Was it not?
Yeah,
I'm
but
pretty sure it was because like Jeff Hardy was there, and then all of a sudden he's at the Manhattan Center.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
So-
but they didn't show that on TV, so they're not going to have like
Yeah.
him at one center, even if it's pre-taped. They're not going to have him at one center and then have him do it at the other one. I mean, they could have definitely not had them even in there at all. Like they didn't
Yeah.
add, so much
It
to
was
it
just
that they didn't make it.
it. Heath Slater's losing all his money for his kids thing. I guess he never got that money back either, so I guess he's broke.
Yeah,
Get to
Heath
sell
Slater.
that pool.
That was funny. That was funny when they threw Heath Slater in there.
Yeah.
Because like Rhino threw
Even
him in there.
Rhino, yeah.
And at first I was like, "What is he doing?" And then I was like, "Oh wait, they're toughening him up." That was funny. That was a good segment. I thought that was a good program, that whole thing. But yeah, and it's just disappointing. And Ethan, to go to your point, you said that you figured it'd be a bad show, or like it had the potential to be a
Yeah.
bad show. I figured there's no way this can be a bad show.
That was what I thought too. I had my hopes
Like-
way too high for that.
My hopes were high, but there was just like something, a little feeling in the back of your head, like this could possibly not be very good, and unfortunately that's what came about.
Oh well. It's done and over with. It'll go down in the history books as one of the most underwhelming shows they've put on.
Let's
At
hope
least-
Raw 30 is better.
Raw 30, yeah.
Pretty nice.
Or Raw 2000.
So, Raw 2000. Okay.
Like a 2000
Like the
episode.
year?
No,
Oh.
2000 episode.
I thought you meant like instead of like Raw 25, 25th
2000.
anniversary of the 2000th anniversary.
I won't be alive for
I'll
that
see you
one.
guys there.
I was gonna say, are we getting the Walt Disney treatment? Like, are we being frozen? But yeah, from one superstar who won't be featured in any of the future Raw segments. As we mentioned earlier, Enzo Amore has been released from WWE. So the story broke yesterday about Enzo being caught in a sexual assault scandal, as that particular topic, as sensitive as it is becoming to the very forefront of everybody's minds. And more information is coming out every day from people all over, politicians, people in Hollywood, musicians, and even professional wrestling is not safe from this. Enzo Amore yesterday was suspended, I think indefinitely. I don't know.
Yeah, it was indefinite.
Yeah.
And literally the next day released. And Daniel Bryan just got on 205 Live, and there was really no way of doing it any other way than just saying he has dropped the title, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Is that what he said?
He said, basically said, unfortunately, Enzo will not be part of the division anymore and has relinquished the title, and there will be a new GM, like tonight or something like
Yeah,
that.
like a new live
New
or
live 205 live
GM
GM
to
will
straighten them out.
Yeah.
Who
something like
was
that.
the GM?
They haven't said
They haven't.
yet.
They've never.
It's
They
to be
never had
announced.
Yeah.
And
It's
they're
like-
going, or whoever the GM is going to be, he's going to announce what the championship is going to like do in the
So
future.
it'll probably happen live during this show then.
Probably
Yeah.
like the last segment.
Yes, I
Okay.
don't know if we'll be able to even discuss that. I guess we could predict what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's
If we
something
get this
weird
to think about.
yeah.
Yeah.
Unless it happens like before we.
Yeah.
Before we get to it.
Something like that.
But yeah. Thoughts, ideas. Personally, I think that as much as difficult as it is to say this about someone, I'm not surprised, and it sucks to say that because this is such a disgusting, vile thing that someone could do, but not surprised.
Yeah, I'm surprised that like it actually did happen, but like I'm not surprised at who it was. Like if I had to guess anybody that would get wrapped up in this, it would be Enzo for sure.
It's just
Yeah.
crazy how like a year can like difference. Like
Shit, like,
Enzo and Cass were the hottest thing, last
They
year
were
and
pushing
everything.
T-shirts every other week and all their gimmicks and their catchphrases.
Enzo was like probably like they were probably the most popular tag team. Like yeah,
And
and
they
now
were-
look at them.
They were a tag team that, like, as much as I wanted them to have gold, they didn't need it.
No,
They
that's
never
why
needed
they never
it.
got him in NXT, did they?
They
No,
never. They
no.
never
needed him in
They've never
NXT.
held.
Right.
They've never held gold.
Never needed them in the WWE either. It was an instant. It was an instant crowd popper to have them come out and do their thing. Even after Enzo turned heel and became the annoying guy that he was meant to be,
Yeah.
people
That was
still.
incredible. I was just starting to come back around and enjoy him again and enjoy his work, and then sure enough,
And I mean, we have theories. Obviously, if Enzo is innocent, because everybody is innocent until proven guilty. Enzo has come out with a statement saying he denies everything. I personally have a few theories. One being WWE does know something, and Enzo is just denying it, I guess, to the public, which wouldn't make sense. But even, I think you pointed out, Rich Swann hasn't even been
yeah, which
released.
yeah, he's been suspended and he's still on trial or something. So
Yeah. So
I think Stephanie McMahon said, like in an interview, that if he does get convicted, he's fired immediately. Rich Swann.
and he should be.
Yeah, absolutely. Which tells me that there's something else going on with this Enzo situation.
But that was just domestic abuse.
Yeah, just domestic abuse.
Well,
Watch yourself there.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, his wife hasn't his wife even come out and like, or whoever it was. I thought they like mended something
don't
with
know.
that. I don't know. I honestly didn't really care for Rich Swann like all that
Yeah,
much.
me either.
I did at first. Honestly.
At first.
And when he was in NXT, I really liked him, but that's irrelevant now.
Did
Yeah.
you hear, John, the report that apparently Enzo didn't even tell like any of the officials in the company about his status with this accusations and all that? Apparently, they had no idea. He was trying to hide it from them,
That's why he got in trouble.
which could be why he got fired so quickly.
Yeah, and my next theory kind of plays into that. We have seen the downward trend of Enzo Amore. Ethan just mentioned about what a year can do to someone, and I'm almost thinking that with this string of sexual assault allegations coming out and women bravely coming out and speaking out against their assaulters, I think WWE. This is my most plausible theory. I think WWE doesn't want that scandal at all, especially since they are ramping up to their biggest show of the year. They don't want any part of that. And Enzo has given them enough trouble in the past. Enzo has heat backstage. And they probably just said, you know what? You're not doing all that much for us, so how you doing? Bye.
If he's proven innocent, do you think he'll ever get a chance to come back?
Really?
Oh yeah,
I think so.
I
If he's
believe
proven innocent,
he'll
yeah.
probably rehire just like
Because
that.
the similar thing happened with Emma a few years ago, where she got caught stealing, but it was a big misunderstanding, and it was an accident. She didn't mean to steal it.
Stealing is
They
different.
fired her and rehired her like the next day.
Stealing is different.
I know it's different, but still, it's an accusation.
And
that
did
could be-
Emma have when was this? Was this
This
in like
was-
Emma's prime?
This one she's still in NXT.
So her prime.
Well,
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I
It was
guess.
it was like her late NXT run.
when she was doing the dancing thing. So
Yeah.
And
Might have
yeah,
just
and
got
I feel
called
like
up,
what you
actually.
were saying, that's probably playing another part into it, like him lying about it.
Mhm.
I honestly think WWE like is probably turning a new tide and saying, you know what, we have other people that can push merch, we have other people that can do this. I'm just wondering what that's going to do for Big Cass when Big Cass comes back. If that's going to have any adversarial effect on him at all.
It's crazy that Carmella is the standout now from that trio. You got Cass on the injured list and Enzo getting fired, and Carmella's just plugging away on
killing
SmackDown.
it.
Yeah.
I heard rumors of Cass being in the Royal Rumble though.
Is he back already?
already, I feel like he wasn't scheduled to like after Mania.
I thought he wasn't either, but I heard rumors that.
I'd
Could
cool
be.
with
I
that.
mean,
I mean, there's always rumors, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just I'm interested to see if it is true. All the best wishes to the accuser. If it's not true, I honestly think WWE just won't take another chance on that.
That's fair.
That's my opinion. But that messes up the Royal Rumble. Not that I didn't mean it that way. That kind of came off wrong, but yeah. So
I just I made a mistake. It's actually going to be decided next week what they're going to do with the title and
Of course.
everything. Yeah, I read it wrong.
so nothing about the
So-
cruiserweight title on the
No-
Rumble.
I'm guessing no. I'm guessing Rumble's nothing.
I wonder if they're either going to extend the women's Rumble because I feel like that's not going to get nearly as much time as the men's Rumble.
Yeah.
So maybe, I mean, it's not like the cruiserweight match is going to get more than like 8 minutes anyways, but
Yeah.
Well, here we go. Something I'm excited for. Let's change the mood.
The future.
The future.
Future.
I mean, the Royal Rumble is a good look at the future and a good look at what WWE is thinking at the time, their creative processes, their creative juices. It is almost as if WWE is throwing their entire notebook that they have all of their ideas in at the exact same time. One of my favorite, if not my favorite moments in WWE every year, the Royal Rumble 2018, and it should be a relatively decent card. So we start off with the Women's Royal Rumble. Now, I don't know if you guys want to discuss the Royal Rumble matches, if you want to discuss the storylines going into this, or if you just want to start talking predictions.
We can talk about like possible surprises. Like, what are you guys expecting? Because there's only 18 women right now that are announced.
Is there
out-
18?
Out of 30. It's 9 from each brand.
Okay.
What do you think is going to happen with the extra spots?
I personally think, I mean, Trish is a shoe-in. Lita's a shoe-in.
Kelly.
Kelly's a shoe-in. Probably Beth Phoenix.
Some NXT girls, Peyton Royce, Billie Kay, please.
Nikki Cross.
For sure. Nikki Cross would
Kairi
love.
Sane.
I would love to see Nikki Cross go on a tear.
And
in
then
the
I
Rumble.
think some from the women's tournament will be in there.
Piper Niven. I think she's. Isn't she signed by WWE now? Candice LeRae probably.
Candice LeRae probably.
I bet you one or both of the Bellas is going to be in there as well.
I'm also thinking there might be like gags in there just because there is sometimes with the men's Royal
who?
Rumble.
Like
I don't
Santina.
know, and that's
Jillian?
that'd be cool though.
Yeah, good gag. honestly.
JoJo.
JoJo.
Lillian
or
Garcia.
yeah,
Good
or
Lord. Break.
Dean's wife.
Renee Young.
Renee Young.
She
yeah,
is-
throw her.
Sorry,
in.
Renee
Charlie
Young, not
Caruso.
Dean's
Yeah.
wife.
I think the biggest surprise. I don't know if it'd be a surprise because we're all expecting it, but Ronda Rousey.
On that, I'm thinking as an early prediction here. Like, not winner or loser, but I think Ronda's going to enter it after Stephanie McMahon comes out to try to win it, and then eliminate Stephanie, and then whatever, she gets tossed out by Asuka or something. And then you have a nice celebrity crossover match at Mania that's not with the title, but still has a big Stephanie McMahon, the daughter of Vince, versus Ronda Rousey, the baddest woman on the planet. I think that'd be a cool. Keep it away from the title, but keep it still a high billing match to do that.
Yeah.
Cool.
I would like to see Ronda like actually in a match though and see what she can do.
I don't think she's ready yet. Do you?
I haven't seen anything. I know she's been training with.
I fear the worst when it comes to guest appearances.
Is it Brian
like that.
Kendrick that she's been training with? Who's she been training with?
I have no
Is she?
clue. Probably at the Performance Center, to be honest.
Yeah, she's been at the Performance Center. I know that.
Like, I don't know if she's getting any extra training other than that. But I don't know.
I guess if they do that intergender match, did you say with Triple H?
I mean, I thought about it, but I don't know if they actually will go through with it or not.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of a weird, because then who's going to be her partner? Like, it'll either be Braun or Kurt Angle.
The Rock.
Or The Rock.
The Rock, but
Just
he's too
rehash
busy with
the-
movies.
Yeah.
What Mania was that? Was that
31.
31?
3 years ago.
I'd be totally cool with that.
Yeah,
that's
that'd be
fine.
dope.
But then that leaves Braun with nothing to do at Mania, and Kurt Angle's got to find something to do. And
I just really hope that. I also heard Santina. Like, I've heard that is a possible entrant.
I'd be cool with it if he got destroyed immediately.
Yeah, and that
really
was what
push the
someone was
women.
saying, is that it's almost as if, like, you can't run away from that, since he did win the first, like, women's battle royal, I guess, for Miss WrestleMania.
Yeah.
You can't really run away from that. You can't really erase that. So why not put him in there and just have him destroyed?
That'd be great.
You know
Just
what?
Take each
so
finisher from the girls.
Santino was eliminated by Kane. I think he has the shortest time. So it'd be funny if, like, Asuka or someone just, like, eliminate Santina
He has
just
the-
like that.
the
So,
shortest in the girls both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'd be
Or
funny.
James Ellsworth. I've heard James
I've
Ellsworth
heard
as well.
Too, yeah.
I think Santino would be okay to put in there. James Ellsworth, I think they should keep him as far away as possible,
I agree.
Yeah.
because he's still under contract, right? Technically.
I think it's just like a no TV clause. He just
Oh.
can't be
Yeah,
on TV.
his no
He
TV
can
is still going.
he can go on, like, independent stuff, but I just don't think he can be on TV. It's like TNA. Basically.
Nick,
What's
you were
up?
mentioning early predictions. Who is your pick
I
for
got
the
Asuka.
women, the first ever women's Royal Rumble
got
match?
Asuka.
Asuka.
I think that they're trying to build towards the Alexa with the bratty heel dominant champion on Raw to finally lose to the unstoppable force of Asuka. Because as we saw tonight, even she's untouchable in the mixed match challenge. She and Miz beat Carmella and Big E tonight, clean as a whistle.
Yeah.
So I think that they're taking this Asuka ride all the way to Mania for her to win the belt, and then eventually get challenged by somebody that might beat her for it.
Fair enough. Ethan,
So I want to go bold with these predictions.
go bold
You
with
know,
them,
I
buddy.
feel like
Alicia Fox.
no, not Alicia Fox, not that bold. So I had Asuka for a while, but I just recently changed it. I think they're gonna go bold here. They're gonna pick Ruby Riott to win the,
Wow.
and then she's gonna face Charlotte at Mania.
You
No.
have that much faith in her?
I do. I feel like they need to build up someone else. Like, I mean, Asuka already has. She's already undefeated. So I mean, what? They need to build up someone else.
I guess
think
my-
Ruby could be the perfect person to
Yeah, I guess my issue with Ruby Riott is it just feels weird, her transition from NXT
It was
to the main.
it was quick, and it was kind of just like a copy of Absolution. So
Yeah, it just feels.
it was exactly.
It was gonna say
Exact
it's an exact copy. It feels weird, and that is bold because I personally don't think she's ready for that.
Oh, I think she's ready. It just whether storyline, like her character is ready.
If they can build her properly.
Yeah, right.
If they could build her properly, I'd be behind it,
Oh yeah.
and I know Damien would be too.
I mean, I've met the girl.
Yeah.
Damien and I both met her.
at the girl.
She's great. Heidi Lovelace.
Damien, are you also going with Ruby Riott?
No, that'd be cool though.
That'd be cool.
No, I saw something really cool on the internet that if Carmella wins, she goes over to the Raw brand, wins that championship, then cashes it in at WrestleMania
That'd be insane.
and wins both titles
That'd be
at
the push of
WrestleMania.
the century for women.
Yeah,
Jesus.
good gravy.
So I'm gonna it's gonna be bold. I'm gonna go with Carmella.
See, I'm not gonna be as bold. I'm gonna be just probably logical. I honestly think Ronda Rousey will win it.
Yeah.
And as much as I don't want, I would love for Bayley to win it, and I really think that they could pull it off properly and get Bayley back to the place that she needs to be, back to the place that she deserves to be. Almost, I mean, as much as like Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch don't do much, Bayley is the worst off right now of the women's revolution.
Yeah, I think she needs it most.
She needs it the most, and I would love for her to win, but I really, really, really think WWE is going to go with Ronda Rousey on that one.
I'm afraid you're right, but I'm trying to believe against it.
Like, I wouldn't care if it was like the second or the third Rumble that they did.
Yeah.
Like, but the very first, I
Yeah.
don't want a
But-
non-WWE.
and
girl
that's
to- yeah,
that's where
that's my only thing.
yeah,
that
and
I
that's
don't
where a
want.
lot of people are coming from, is saying that like we finally are having this women's revolution of wrestlers, and then you bring in an MMA girl who's
Yeah.
not a wrestler and
And
who had nothing to do with.
You have James Ellsworth win the Money in the Bank
Yeah.
match, and then you have Ronda
Yeah.
Rousey win the Rumble. That's a bad luck to do that 2 times in a
And
row.
you had a man win Miss WrestleMania.
People don't forget.
I just honestly think that WWE would do something like that. But we'll see. Speaking of arrests, though, another one that just well, we were on the topic of Enzo and stuff. Transitions are hard. So this is the card according to Bleacher Report and the order that they had them. So we may not be in the exact order. So our apologies, but from the women's Royal Rumble, which I think we're all assuming will be the opening match, because if they did that back to back Rumbles,
2 hours of Rumbles.
exhausting. It would be exhausting. I don't think they're gonna give the women's Rumble more than
You don't think it's gonna be an
35
hour?
minutes.
Really?
No.
Kind of has to be, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's 30 women. Like,
There's still
it's gonna
quite
be
a
the
bit
same
of
amount
there's still quite a bit of matches on the card though.
Yeah, but I mean,
But it
a-
starts at 7.
it starts 7. It's a,
Yeah,
Fair enough.
it
the
might
early start time.
last till midnight like WrestleMania did.
Yeah.
I hope not, but it might.
I have
Fair
big
enough.
stuff to do the next day. I
Yeah.
hope not.
Yeah. Actually, I want Nia to win the Royal Rumble.
Stop.
From one Samoan to another.
Stop it.
She's-
So, so the next match that we have on the card is the Usos versus American Beta for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. A match that I'm excited to see, and I think could be a sleeper on this card. Personally, Damien, your thoughts?
It'd be cool to see Shelton Benjamin get a title. It's been a long time, but I think the Usos will win this one because, I mean, they're the hottest thing right now, and I just don't think they'll take the tag titles off of them until after WrestleMania or at Mania. So that's my prediction.
Fair enough, Ethan.
Yeah, I have the Usos retaining because they're on fire and they have been since last year. So well
Checks
not
his
like
watch.
last. Yeah, I looked at my watch. But yeah,
His
they're
non-existent
hot.
watch.
My non-existent watch. Yeah, they're hot.
Nick, do you also think they're hot?
No. Which Uso got
Jay.
arrested or
Jimmy.
something?
It was
I
Jay.
believe.
Was it Jimmy or Jay?
It was Jay.
Was it Jay?
Yeah, it was Jay. Because I remember
It was
it's
Jay.
not Naomi's husband.
I'm wondering if the Usos aren't being punished as well right now with his trouble with the law, because tonight he lost clean to Chad Gable, 1, 2, 3, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them also lose the titles on Sunday at the Rumble, because like you were saying, the WWE's trying to not take this stuff lightly, whether it's a DUI or sexual assault or whatever. So I wouldn't be surprised not to see them suspended, but just to see them knocked down a peg from the championship scene right now because of his issues with his DUI.
I'm going to go ahead and agree with that, and for one reason, in case that Jay needs to do further things for that. I don't know exactly like what kind of trials he has to go through or whatever.
That could be an obstacle come Mania
It's an
season.
obstacle coming forward. And there is I don't know how you guys are feeling because you do have the Usos winning. I don't think there's anything wrong with putting the titles on American Beta, personally.
No, I just
No,
don't
there's
think
nothing
it's-
wrong.
yeah.
I just don't.
You just
think-
yeah.
I just feel like it'd be later.
And as much as I like the Usos, I even mentioned that they're, one of my favorites right now. I just honestly believe that WWE doesn't want to mess around with that.
Yeah, and the tag team division is weird right now on both shows. It's like unpredictable, but not in a good way. Like there's just so much going on. There's so many good teams, which is great, but there's not a whole lot of direction or consistency with any of the booking, honestly. But besides the New Day and the Usos, but other than that, it's like the titles are kind of jumping around, and you got teams forming, and you got teams losing a lot, winning a lot. It's because for a while we were thinking that Rusev Day was going to get a big push, and now they're losing with Jinder tagging on SmackDown.
Right.
But for all we know, next month it could be Rusev Day versus Chad and Shelton. It's unpredictable in a really strange way right now at both shows, I think.
Both shows.
Because you got the Revival, you got the Club, You got the bar. You got
one,
Shelton,
yeah, and
not Shelton,
one
Jason and Seth.
and another unpredictable aspect of the other brand is the title match that we have at the Royal Rumble. We're seeing the what I have dubbed the Kinda Shield. I guess they're also been considered the Championship Club. Well, I guess not anymore, but yeah. So the Kinda Shield, the unlikely match of Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan, the champions, against the Bar for the Tag Team Championship. Nick, who do you have winning this one?
I have written down on my screen here, because I honestly don't know.
Can I get a?
I could see Seth and Jason losing him because I don't think that they're gonna be champions going into Mania. But then again, Mania is still 2 months away, so for all we know, they could lose him next month or next week even. So I don't know. I'm gonna probably just go with the Bar just to be safe, but it could be either one, and I wouldn't care honestly. It'd be a good show regardless.
It'll be a good match regardless.
Yes, for sure.
I think. Ethan?
I got Seth and Jordan retaining. Just, I don't know. This one again was hard for me. Me and Nick were talking about it during SmackDown. I'm like, I have no idea who's gonna both these tag matches. They're kind of hard to predict. I don't know. I think Jordan and Seth will retain, and maybe they'll lose it soon, and then that'll start their little segment thing.
Yeah. Damien?
I think the Bar will pick up the victory. The little incident that happened with Seth Rollins, what was it, the knee to the face of Jason Jordan. I think that will cause some issues in the match, and they'll fight. And
Building to that.
yeah, Cesaro will probably roll Jason Jordan up 1, 2, 3. Will be one of those victories.
I agree. I think the Bar will take it. There's probably going to be some discourse, as we saw on Raw 25. Jason Jordan did Seth Rollins accidentally gave Jason Jordan a knee or whatever it was. I don't even remember what it was.
It was a flying knee.
It was a flying knee.
Flying knee to the face.
Very, very poorly done, might I add.
It was weird because he had Cesaro bound up, and then Cesaro shook him off.
Jason Jordan was like a foot away from him.
Yeah.
And he still like sold it. Like he got hit right spot on. But yeah, I think the Bar will get it again. Just because there's going to be discourse in the Kinda Shield. In the Championship Club. It's not going to be the Championship Club anymore.
No.
Speaking of championships, the next match we have on the card is, personally for me, the one I'm least looking forward to, and I shouldn't feel that way. But we have Lesnar versus Kane versus Braun, 3-way match for the Universal Championship. Damien, who do you have on this one? Well,
I wish Braun Strowman would win because Braun has nothing going towards WrestleMania, and it'd be really cool for Braun Strowman to win. Then Nick and I were talking about the Elimination Chamber, so I think it would be cool if Braun wins, so that way Brock doesn't have to be in the Elimination Chamber, and then right after the Elimination Chamber, Brock comes back and and Roman's in the Elimination Chamber. Roman wins. He has the title going into WrestleMania. Brock. And then he can. It's a really bold prediction, but we'll see how it goes.
Interesting.
So you have Braun winning?
I said I want Braun to win.
You want Braun to win, but
Brock will probably win.
Brack is your final prediction. Fair enough. Ethan?
You know, I gotta go with my boy Kane. No, just kidding. I got Braun. I got Lesnar winning. Sorry. And,
do you think this is the last we see of Kane then?
You know what? I didn't really think about that. No, he'll be around for maybe another year.
No, he's gonna be in the Rumble.
Well, I mean,
I
like moving forward, like WrestleMania wise.
He'll probably be in the maybe
Andre the Giant.
I know he'll probably be in the Andre the Giant. He might win it this year.
Armbar.
And that might be his.
What's the acronym for that?
I hate that.
Armbar.
But I don't know. I feel like Kane deserves one like last hoorah of like this is my retirement match, not a I don't know. I feel like this shouldn't be his last match if it is. I feel like it should be with someone like the Undertaker or something. But who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Nick, do you know?
No.
No,
I don't know. I got Brock winning.
Yeah.
I think this will be the end of Kane's current run. But I don't think he's retiring just yet. I think he'll come back and have a big send-off, some kind of a supernatural ending like Taker did. But yeah, I got Brock winning and
He goes
going
up
to
into
Mania.
flames.
Yeah, something like that. When they can afford pyro again.
I'm gonna cry when that happens.
When they can afford pyro again, is
As
that
if-
going to be
as if they
ever?
can't right now?
I was gonna say, as if they can't now. They just charged $800 for people to sit in an arena and watch TV.
I think
Let's
they're
be real.
definitely ahead right now, and as far
Yeah.
as money goes.
And not to going back to that real quick.
Oh my god.
Bray Wyatt had the lights dim for him.
Yeah.
So did DX.
So did DX. Mad. Okay. Yeah, I also have Brock. What I would like to see happen is have Kane have his current run ended by Braun, have Kane put Braun over, and not have Brock lose in this triple threat. And then going on to, what is it, Fastlane? Is that the
They
Raw?
have elimination.
SmackDown
Chamber.
has Fastlane.
So Elimination Chamber. Have the what I believe the rumor right now is the Elimination Chamber being the number one contenders match
That's the
for
rumor.
WrestleMania, and then have Brock beat Braun at Elimination Chamber to regain the title. But yeah, Brock will win.
Interesting.
He's got to win.
Yep.
It's one of those things that's too obvious.
Unfortunately.
So, from one top title to the next, we have an interesting match. We have the chance for co-champions for the first time ever when the team of KO and Sami Zayn, officially dubbed by AJ Styles as Cammy. Hi, Cammy.
Hey, Cammy.
Hey, Cammy.
It was weird when I kept on seeing promos and they're just like, oh, Cammy thinks they're unstoppable. And I'm like, hello? But, yeah, we have AJ Styles, the WWE champion, going up against Cammy in this handicap match. Seeing AJ Styles dominate both of them tonight in the fashion, but losing to Sami Zayn. Nick, who do you have winning this match?
I got AJ. I think that they're gonna tie in the whole friendship thing with Kevin and Sammy, and the two are gonna have him beat. They're gonna have him done, and they're gonna say, "No, you pin him. No, you pin him. No, you pin him first," and then that will cause the whatever the roll up or the surprise or whatever that will cause them to lose.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh,
It's a good idea.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, I have AJ winning. That's a good idea. I didn't really think about that, but because I think AJ has big plans this year for Mania, and I feel like
Is that foreshadowing for your prediction for the Rumble?
yeah, it
Oh,
is
cool.
actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Huh.
Nice. Damien, do you have big plans?
for the future? Yes. I have AJ Styles winning.
Yeah.
No doubt. I don't think. Well, going back to what Nick said, the whole like, oh no, you pin him. Like, that's gonna get both of them frustrated. I feel like, or I actually want to see Sammy versus Kevin one more time at
yeah.
WrestleMania.
That'd
If
be
that builds
amazing.
it up, that's what I was talking to Ethan about. That'd be really cool.
Like something I would love to see would be Kevin pins AJ, and he says, "Oh, just kidding, this is mine now." And then Sammy takes the Rumble to fight Kevin at Mania. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's gonna.
WWE doesn't go for cool
No,
things.
no.
See, that's what they should have done last year with Jericho. Like Jericho winning the
Yes.
Rumble, and then Kevin versus Jericho for the Universal title.
This is
not
their
for-
chance to
yeah.
correct that,
Mhm.
but they're not gonna do it.
So I have AJ officially winning, but I think that what they're probably going to do, or I think what they might do, is actually have like Cammy win, but then do one of those like Shane McMahon comes out and like finds out that something went wrong and then restart it, and then I don't know what KO's plans are right now. I haven't heard anything, but like I know that I've heard that Vince McMahon is pretty high on him, especially after seeing, KO do the headbutt to him. So they might try to do Shane versus KO
Again.
at Mania, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I have AJ winning. I think is the logical thing. So, the match, the one that seems relatively star-studded, or should be a good match, a good Rumble that I'm excited about, because there are a lot of possibilities that could happen. Nick,
You want me to go prediction first?
just if you have thoughts on it,
I'm
buddy.
curious what kind of surprises or extras, whatever
Yeah.
we're gonna see. As of right now, I think there's 17 as of tonight because they just added the new day along with the 14 they already had announced. But so that there's still 13 more guys that they got to figure out what they're gonna do.
What are some surprises that you think? I have heard EC3
That'd be awesome.
possibility.
Yeah, because he just canceled a indie booking.
Yeah.
And he's been seen at the Performance Center.
Rick O'Shea.
Yeah, Ricochet. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and with the Royal Rumble, Ricochet.
Did you just
likes,
give WWE a new name for
Yeah,
him?
Rick O'Shea.
That's gonna happen.
with the Rumble, they like spots. Ricochet loves spots. Like
Can you imagine-
like the
can you imagine
gymnastic stuff.
Ricochet and Kofi Kingston doing something.
Yeah,
similar?
Oh,
It'd
that'd
be
be wicked.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
It'd be
that'd be dope. Yeah, EC3, Ricochet.
Could we see Bobby Lashley? Do you think, or is it too?
No, I don't
Because-
think. I don't think his contract even. I'm pretty sure EC3's contract lines up and has logical sense, but I don't think Bobby Lashley's ends in time.
Really?
That's what I've
They
heard.
both quit like the same tapings, like
Yeah.
two days apart.
Yeah, but I think Bobby's contract is still longer than
Oh, is it?
EC3's. Like, yeah, so he still has that binding to
Okay.
him. So I don't think. Could be wrong. Don't quote me on that, but that's what I've heard. I don't know, some other surprises, some NXT call-ups that I'd like to see. I'd love to see Aleister Black in there.
Velveteen Dream.
Velveteen
would be great.
Dream in there. Have another Aleister Black Velveteen Dream stare
How's
off.
Drew McIntyre's arm?
I don't know.
I feel like-
actually.
Was it a torn
thought-
rotator cuff? Is that what it
It was
was?
his bicep, I believe.
I thought he wasn't gonna be able to come back until like Mania, until around.
That's what I
Mania.
thought too. That's what I thought.
So
I mean, that's fine.
that'd be
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be
Surprise
like
entrance.
Jinder, Heath, and
Maybe
Drew.
That'd be really nice.
maybe Jeff Hardy. I don't know how healthy he is. I know that they
His
weren't
I think his shoulder's too messed
out
up right
still.
now.
still.
For those, it's when did he get hurt? Like, because it's like
It was a
usually
couple
like a
months ago.
6-week thing.
That was a
usually.
quiet injury though. They didn't really.
it was
They
in
just.
October because we went to that we didn't get to see him. In
That's
Oh,
true.
yeah,
That's
so-
true.
Oh, he
So it's
could
been a
be.
while.
Oh,
It's been a while.
it's been almost what?
3 months.
Yeah.
Well, I know that a torn rotator because he does have a rotator cuff problem, right? A torn rotator cuff.
Yes.
I know those are like almost a year long recovery. I know that those are hell to take care of.
Speaking of injuries, what's the word on Joe? I know he's been like
I read.
week to week right now.
Yeah, I read an article that he's week to week. He said obviously Rumble's not in the future, but he said like Mania could possibly.
Mania could be.
Yeah.
Like he could probably come back in February.
But hearing week to week and then thinking, oh, Mania is a possibility. Those two things don't
Yeah, it's interesting.
Is-
Yeah.
Is Dean also a Mania thing?
Dean's official time is like 9 months, but that's
Like
But that's
SummerSlam.
like
that
We've
could
seen.
be kayfabe. We
I was
don't
gonna say that's the thing. That's where kayfabe is still alive. Like stuff like that, we don't know.
know. For all we know, Dean could interfere and cause Seth to lose and start his heel turn.
I just don't know if anybody is as superhuman as John Cena is in the recovery.
Yeah, not everyone can
Braun
pull that
Strowman
off.
is superhuman.
Yeah. So, Nick, with all these ideals in mind, who do you have winning this Rumble?
Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph
Wow.
Ziggler.
Dolph Ziggler.
Wow.
Okay.
Like-
He was not on the show tonight. I thought he would come out and interrupt Bobby Roode last week or this week. He did not.
So there's no U.S.
so
championship.
there's no U.S.
like-
feud going on. There's nothing going on at all right now besides the gender thing. So what I'm thinking, Dolph's last promo before he left, he was saying all the stuff he's won. He's won Money in the Bank. He's won Battle Royals. He's won this and that, these and those, every single title besides the WWE title. And also, he's never had a singles match at WrestleMania ever. He's been in ladder matches and he's been in Battle Royals, but he's never had in tag team matches and celebrity matches. Never an actual singles match. So it'd be cool for him to say, this is why I dropped the U.S. title, because it's one thing that I want to do, win the Rumble and get a singles match for the championship I've never won at Mania.
He could even go along the lines of, I dropped it and then left so I could go train.
Yeah.
Like, train as hard as I possibly can.
Again, the issue there is him and AJ, they can't both be a face, so you got to kind of spin it to like a grumpy veteran who's never got his fair shot, so now he's taking it, blah, blah, blah. Then he gets kind of dirty along the way. But that'd be a killer match, killer feud. The story writes itself there with the whole disgruntled, never had his actual fair shot at the title. That's something I'd like to see.
Ethan?
I have Finn Balor winning the Royal Rumble. I feel like he's going to, instead of face Brock, he's going to move over to SmackDown, and he's going to face AJ and have their rematch from, what was it, TLC? And I feel like that'd be incredible to see, I think. And I think him with the demon, did he have the demon paint at TLC? I don't think so.
Nope. It
I
was
don't
just
think so.
Balor versus Styles.
Yeah, I feel like that add a new element to the match, and I think it'd be pretty cool to see.
Very nice.
Yeah, it'd be different than
Wait, do you think that he would take the club with him?
I don't know. I would like for the club to go to SmackDown
Yeah.
with them, but I don't know if they would. Maybe.
Maybe they could like arrange a good trade or something.
Yeah. Who knows?
That'd be very,
Yeah.
very
That'd be cool.
interesting.
Damien?
Did you guys know that April 8th is also Rusev Day?
Oh my
Because
gosh.
Oh my gosh.
at
Vain
WrestleMania,
Englishman.
we will see Rusev have his match, his shot. He needs a shot at something. That man is so over right now. Bold prediction: Rusev wins the Royal Rumble.
Goodness
I
gracious.
like it.
That's pretty bold.
That is
I
bold.
guess the least likely out of our three so far.
Right?
No offense. Just in my opinion.
you'll see why I said that with my finisher later.
Okay.
I agree with that. That's a good transition because mine also ties into my finisher. So I have been saying all along that it's going to be Shinsuke because they teased Shinsuke and AJ at the Money in the Bank, and we'd all love to see that. And I think I remember hearing, you tell me you wouldn't like to see that.
It'd be a good match.
It would
I
be.
think
That's all I
AJ. I think I've heard somewhere that AJ like is telling upper management that like that's the match, one of the matches that he wants to do.
It's the match he deserves after
It's-
last
yeah.
year. Turning that match into such a great one with
Yeah.
Shane. He deserves it.
But I'm kind of mad that I didn't go before Ethan because I also have Finn Balor winning, and I also have Finn Balor saying, you know what, you guys screwed me over with this Universal Championship. Screw Raw. I'm going to SmackDown.
He's taking the club with him.
Taking the club with
Yeah.
him, which ties into my finisher.
Oh.
Which we'll get to.
there, okay.
We'll get there. So that is Royal Rumble 2018. That is the predictions. That is almost going to wrap this show up. But, Nick, speaking of Dolph Ziggler,
What about him?
our fans and the people who voted in the poll actually, they like Dolph as well.
That was interesting to me.
That's an interesting
Wait,
result.
what was the
so,
top mine that said pushed off?
Yeah, Ethan
Oh,
Jensen
heck
was
yeah.
the number one.
yeah, that was Ethan's. So,
Heck yeah.
our listeners and whoever voted, they voted to push Dolph, to fire Zach, and to put Bobby Roode back in NXT.
There, I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
honestly.
I didn't either.
I thought for sure it was gonna be my prediction of, or my choice of Dolph NXT, push Bobby, and fire Zach.
Yeah,
But
Nick?
I think you or mine and Damien's predictions tied. Right? Or no? Yeah. It was
Mine
mine
and-
and yours.
Yeah.
Me and Damien had the
Yes.
same one.
yes,
They tied for second, and then other was
Yes.
third.
yes.
So yeah, it
So,
was interesting results.
what kind of question do you have for us this time?
All right, I got a heavier one this week, so you guys might want to think on it for a second while
Okay.
I answer.
Okay.
Because I have mine lined up right here. The question of the week: if you can go back and change the result of one match in history, which would it be and why? Any match you want.
Oh man.
You can have any implication you want afterwards, whatever it might unfold afterwards. Which would it be and why? And here, I'll kick it off. This match was on May 3rd, 2011, on an episode of SmackDown, taped episode of SmackDown. Christian versus Randy Orton. Christian defending his brand new World Heavyweight Championship, something he never attained his entire career. Something that evaded him to that point that he got because Edge had retired and they had a big emotional segment where Christian finally won it, finally got the job done, beat Del Rio in a ladder match, the match that he loves. Edge came out and hugged him and they cried and they celebrated. It was such this big, huge deal just for him to lose it 2 days later at a SmackDown taping. That was, as a diehard Christian fan, that was really crushing to me when that happened. I was a pretty petty 14-year-old back then, so I boycotted SmackDown for a couple weeks at least. And then the feud ended up being great. I'm not discounting the feud. I'm not discounting anyone involved besides the horrible writing team, because since then Orton has come out and said that he didn't want to do it, and he told Christian straight up, let's not do this. But Christian said, no, let's just do our jobs. Let's do what we're told, and then see where it goes from there. And Randy just said, okay, let's do it. And Randy said, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this right, and we're going to have an incredible program together. And they did. It was great. It lasted like 4 or 5 months. It was one of the longer feuds of the year, longer feuds in recent memory. I don't know if you've ever watched those matches before, John, because you weren't watching at that point in time. You need to go back and watch Christian and Orton at Over the Limit, Capital Punishment, Money in the Bank, and SummerSlam 2011. Great matches, incredible. Just the technicality of it was great. The finishes were great. Besides this, what I'm talking about right now. I just think that they should have let Christian have a longer run with the title, with it being this ridiculous scenario of winning it after Edge retired, forced to drop the title. Just give him more than just a feel-good moment. Give him a feel-good month or two. Then you can turn him heel, have him fight Orton for a few weeks or for a few months, whatever. I think that would have been a lot more just in the whole situation that went down. Christian ended up winning the title 2 times within that feud. The first time he won it against Del Rio, and then he won it back in a really cowardly way at Money in the Bank against Orton. But then he dropped it in a basically squash match, squash street fight, Extreme Rules match at SummerSlam, and then he disappeared from the World Heavyweight title picture forever until one of his last matches ever against Del Rio a few years later.
Wow. Okay.
What do you guys got?
Ethan, do you have an answer?
Yeah. So what I would change is, probably it was on a June 23rd episode of Raw of 2003, where it was Kane versus Triple H for the WWE for the World Heavyweight Championship. If Kane lost, his mask would have to be taken off. And, I think I feel like Kane should have won that match, and I feel like his mask shouldn't have been taken off there. I feel like it should have been a bigger moment. It should have been maybe not even taken it off, like, still to this day. Like, I would have loved to, I feel like as a kid that was really impactful for me because, Kane was he was my boy. He was it's kind of weird, Kane, that heel who, likes to electrify Shane McMahon's testicles. But, he was my hero, and just seeing him, take off his mask, it really impacted me, and I feel like it could have been bigger than what it was, and I feel like
his emotional scars that were hiding behind the mask.
Yeah, it was, and the cheap. Now that I look back at it, the cheap dust. I don't
the black, the weird
hair,
the mascara on his face, and the weird hair on the back of his head.
It was just weird to me. Now that I look at it, it's just weird. It could have been so much better, and I feel like it should have been more impactful for Kane. Because, he's incredible. He's an incredible character.
That was a huge moment.
It was huge.
Because, even back then, I knew nothing about wrestling at all. And that was still, the talk of the playground. The rumor around of the kids that age was this Kane kid this Kane monster is terrifying. This guy's making kids cry. He's giving us nightmares.
See No Evil was
Evil. But that was after he took the mask.
That was 2007.
But, that was such a big deal for him to have that mask back then. To even me, the most casual viewer of all time at that point in time, was aware of it.
But yeah.
Damien, do you have one?
I'm going to say the second WrestleMania match with Shawn Michaels and Undertaker.
Oh.
I wish Shawn Michaels would have ended the streak. Nothing against Brock, but I wish that, because Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, their feud was great, and I just didn't want to see Shawn retire there. I feel like he could have went on for a little bit, but I think to him it was, he was done. But to me, I feel like I wanted to see a couple more matches in him. And, if he wouldn't have retired and he would have beat the streak, we could actually today see AJ Styles versus Shawn Michaels, and he wouldn't feel bad about, coming out of retirement and disrespecting The Undertaker. So that's mine.
Man, if I had more time, I'd probably choose a different one.
Okay.
But the one that immediately came to mind, I think is 2004. Correct me if I'm wrong. SummerSlam. Randy Orton versus Hulk Hogan. Randy Orton was in the midst of his Legend Killer gimmick, and this was one of the bigger Legend Killer matches. 2006.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm close enough. Randy Orton was in the prime of his Legend Killer gimmick, which honestly is one of my favorite gimmicks growing up. I thought it was an incredible gimmick. You have this guy who is young, cocky, looks good, is good in the ring, and he backs up what he's saying. And he did defeat a bunch of legends. And then Hulk Hogan's ego. We saw that with SummerSlam 2005 with Shawn Michaels. I think it was 2005. I'm not the best with dates, but
that sounds accurate.
That whole story is Shawn was supposed to. Shawn was eventually going to lose the feud a 2 out of 3 like
Series.
Hulk
Yeah.
series. Which he was perfectly fine with until Hogan said, my back hurts. I'm just going to win this one and then leave. So, yeah, I think that they really could have done a lot more with the Legend Killer gimmick. And if Hulk Hogan, as big of a star as Hulk Hogan is, that really could have cemented Randy Orton as, like, the Legend Killer. And I don't know, maybe that could still have been going. But because he's still essentially the same character, just without the Legend Killer.
He's
gimmick.
a legend now, so
Maybe if I had more time, I'd come up with something else. But honestly, to me, that like very, very much irritated me when I was younger. But
Good picks.
Good
Good,
picks.
question.
good
Nick.
one.
Thanks.
Yeah, very
Two
good
in a
question,
row.
Nick.
Let's see how
I
many
felt
can do.
bad at making it such like a charged question without giving you guys some heads up.
Yeah.
You know what? It's cool. That adds to the experience of the question of the week because
Oh, yeah.
you gotta think of it on the fly.
That's
It's
true.
your first thought that comes to your
That's
head.
true. Thinking on the fly. Finishers. Nick, we're gonna put you on the spot since you
jeez.
put us on the spot. Do you have one?
Yeah, I want to talk about John Cena for a second.
Okay.
Were you guys a fan of? I know John, you said you weren't. Were you guys a fan of what's going on with him and Elias right now? It looks
Richard
looks
Damon
like
said no,
looks
too.
like that's going to be his
I
WrestleMania
like
feud.
I like
mean,
it. There's something about it. It's different, and I think it could really push Elias to where he needs to be.
I mentioned this earlier, but like it seems like every year for a while, Cena just kind of treads water come Mania time, and he doesn't really do anything of substance. And this feels like just another one of those feuds since WrestleMania 29. 29, he beat The Rock and won the championship, and well, it was like a formality basically of him winning the belt and getting his big win. Since then, 30 was against Bray Wyatt. Great feud, great match. He beat the young guy clean, ruined all his momentum, and that was it. Moved on. 31, a U.S. title match against Rusev, beat the young guy clean, ruined all his momentum, moved on. And then 32, he was hurt, missed that show. 33, Miz was the hottest thing going on SmackDown. John Cena comes in, beats him, ruins all his momentum, moves on. And I feel like they're just doing the exact same formula again this year with Elias. I love Elias. I'm not a big fan of his in-ring work. His matches could be shorter, in my opinion. But his character is great. His gimmick's awesome. I don't want to see John Cena come in, ruin all his momentum, and move on. I don't want to see that again. But it looks like that's what we're going to see. I'm dreading it. But that's my finishers. I'm tired of John Cena being basically just a gimmick come Mania time, just to get people to watch the show and cheer on the hero to beating all the young guys that are supposed to be being built up as he is.
Fair enough. I like it. Ethan?
Mine is actually going to be about the Miz. I think.
my
I think.
guy.
Yeah, I know. I think 2018, especially. I thought this before, but then with Meltzer, Big Uncle Dave, reporting
Big
that
Dave.
Miz is getting a push.
Dave.
I think 2018 is going to be the year of the Miz. I predict. January 23rd, 2018. Ethan predicts that come Survivor Series, the Miz will be the Universal Champion
All
at
right.
some point
All right.
Some
Bold.
in that year.
Yeah, I've seen some theories about with Meltzer's report of possibly Miz versus Balor Club or Miz versus even Daniel Bryan going into Mania as being his big push.
That'd be
Sorry,
cool.
I'm jumping in on your.
No,
favorites.
you're
I'm a
fine,
Miz
you're
guy.
fine.
But yeah, that'd be cool.
Mhm.
Cool as heck to see him Universal Champion by November.
I think he deserves it too. Like,
Absolutely,
he's
he's
been incredible.
overdue.
Yeah, he's over.
He's
Overdue.
He's over.
He's overdue. He's
overdue.
over.
Yeah.
I saw Damien grab his laptop, looked at me with
It's about Rusev.
with this look in his eyes.
Rusev or Charlotte.
Rusev. It's about Rusev, guys.
This might be the first planned finisher that Damien has ever done.
It's impressive.
Well, I looked some stuff up
Wow.
about the Mania or about the Royal Rumble. Let me
About the edge.
about the edge. Have to screw it up once a week. It's okay. I looked back at the Rumbles, and Randy Orton won it last year. The year before that, Triple H, Roman Reigns before that, Batista before that, John Cena before that. Looking back at it, like none of the fans really, shut up, John. But none of the fans really wanted to see a lot of these. Like Randy Orton, it was all right because Roman didn't win. Triple H, Roman didn't win. Roman Reigns, no one wanted because that was the year,
was the
Daniel
year
Bryan
Daniel
was
Bryan.
The
supposed
second year
to
that he's
win.
supposed to have won, yeah.
And Batista, that
Should have been Daniel Bryan as well.
and the last time that we had someone that actually probably deserved to win it was Sheamus. Like someone who wasn't at the top. Like I'm a big dude of the the underdogs. So, and I mean, I know you are, John. So when Rey Mysterio won the Royal Rumble, and the year before Sheamus won, it was
Del Rio.
Alberto Del Rio.
Should have been Christian that year. To me, the last good Rumble was 2010 with Edge's return.
Yeah,
12,
I mean,
12 should have been Jericho's year, in my opinion. But
it's my
Because
finisher.
wasn't
yeah,
that his
go
return?
ahead. Go ahead.
It's Daniel's
But-
finisher.
Well, I would just like someone that's not, Roman Reigns, and someone that's, someone that actually works day in and day out. And Rusev has worked his tail end off to get where he's at. I mean, he's a good guy. So,
He's a great guy.
and he has a hot wife.
He sure
He's a
does.
hot wife. We respect women.
So Rusev, I mean, if it's not even Rusev, I mean, you said Finn, and you were wanting Finn,
And Dolph.
and Dolph.
Those are all
like those are
workers.
all good, good
So
guys.
you just want
great. I just want
unpredictability.
someone who new, fresh. Like, I mean, even when Chris Benoit won it back in the day, going way back in the day.
Who?
dat? He jumped ship and went to Raw. Just someone new, different.
Right. I agree. So you mentioned that I did say that I think Finn will win, and this is going into my finisher. So I do think that Finn will win the Rumble, and he's gonna go take the Balor Club over to SmackDown, and I think they'll turn heel in some form, even though they just had this like mega babyface thing. And then that'll set up AJ and Finn. And then I think what I would like to see is I don't know exactly how they do this, but since they're all going over there, I'd like to see this war between AJ Styles and Finn Balor over the leader of the Balor Club, even though it is Balor Club. And then since AJ is face and Finn is heel, at my stage in the story, a double turn.
Oh.
And then have Finn get betrayed or something like that, but still have the championship, and then have his run as the face champion that they wanted him to be, and then have AJ back with the club too. And then they could extend that for as long as they wanted to. I could watch AJ and Finn wrestle until the day I die. But yeah, I'd like to see that. That's my finisher.
Can I say that I'm mad real quick?
I guess.
None of you guys pick Roman to win the Rumble, so now we're gonna be even more disappointed when he inevitably does win the
Yeah.
Rumble this year.
Yeah.
We all had really good picks, the really exciting picks, which means I'm now suddenly dreading the Rumble because I know it's gonna be another
No.
letdown.
Or that it's gonna be him or Nakamura. So.
Regardless, I'm gonna be let down.
No. Think positivity.
I'm
Nick.
trying. That's why I
I
predicted
thought
Dolph.
positively. For
Be
Raw
excited
25.
about the
I'm trying to
future.
be excited for the future, but God, I'm kind of mad right now.
Well, that is going to do it for this week's episode. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on all our social media on Facebook and Twitter. To keep up with us, we'll be posting questions like Nick's question of the week. Make sure you stay tuned for next week's episode. And from everyone here at the Four Corners Podcast, thanks for listening.